Hey, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I've been busy. I don't want to give anybody any spoilers, so for the first few minutes, I'm going to talk about everything else besides the movie. First personal update: I moved to New York City. Um, New York City's better than Maryland. It just is. I think it's better for guys, just in general, because things just are better. I've gone from getting no options on matching sites to about a date every 2 weeks or so. Nothing great. I'm failing at that point now, but it's progress, you see. Oh, so New York City is just easier to be single in. You can just walk around. There's so much to explore and see and do, eat. There's a lot to eat. Um, just New York City's the best. Even people can say all these things about, oh, New York City's falling apart. No, it's not. New York City's fine. They might have some budget issues, but as a city, they're doing just fine. So I'm happy I moved up here. I'll probably be up here for the next year or two, um, depending on some things. So what I've been doing is basically I still work in DC. I basically commute down to DC 3 days a week. Come up here, do my hybrid stuff up here, like 2.5 days a week, and then I spend weekends up here. Been able to maintain most of my connections from back home, including visiting my parents when I go down, visiting my best friend when I go down, and that sort of thing. So I'm happy with this move. Next topic. I'm trying to throw out to 5 minutes so any spoilers can go away. Movie going etiquette. There was this woman, not girl, not teenager, woman, like 25 to 28 years old, who was absolutely obnoxious seeing this movie. Um, and she didn't seem like a bad person. That's why I'm like, I didn't want to yell at her or anything because she was obviously just on the spectrum, pretty heavily on the spectrum. And I get that because I'm on the spectrum too in some ways, but it's not an excuse. Especially when there's this one scene in the movie that's kind of important. She just kept maniacally laughing, like really, really loud too. Like she wasn't trying to cover her voice or anything. It was just obnoxious, and it went on for like 5 minutes. Throughout an entire very important scene of the movie. I was just totally distracted because she was just so loud. I'm sorry, dear. I know say you don't have control of your emotions. Fine. Watch the movie at home. It's going to be available on YouTube in 2 weeks. Get over yourself, either control yourself or wait. I'm not asking for that much. You owe me $20 because you took something that we're all trying to have an agreement to be quiet and watch the movie, and you basically stole it for yourself. You stole $20 from me. And that makes me a little bit angry. Even if you are apologetic and saying, "Oh, I don't have control of my emotions," you still stole something. Um, it's morally wrong. You have a duty to your fellow theater goers to be decent. Now, if you're a kid and you don't know any better, fine. But by the time you're 25 or whatever this woman's age was, you should know better. And if you can't, like there are things I can't control, you have mitigating strategies so it's not a burden on other people. Very simple. Um, Now other things. So I'm going to go into the movie review. So these are going to be spoilers, but I'll put the non-spoilery stuff up first. First, well voice acted, well animated. It was an enjoyable experience overall. Seeing the movie in theaters, it was cool. There was episode 8 was really good. Just watching the big screen and all the big scenes in that episode. Um, Kane's crash out was amazing. Sound was too loud, but yeah, I get you want to have everybody hear every single word, so I get it. Um, that was all quite well done. It was an enjoyable movie. Like it wasn't an F. I'm not going to say it's an F because of the future things I'm about to say about it. It was honest. It was honest. Um, it was an honest movie, by the director trying to be honest about how she thinks about life, the universe, and everything. I can't give somebody an F if they're being honest. Honest filmmaking is worth something. I actually think Kane's ending was fine. So now we're getting into actual spoiler quality stuff. I get that there was some like fan service for more socially rough people in the audience. It's fine. If you make something yourself and you're creative, fine. Put your stuff in. You have earned that right by virtue of being a writer. If you create something, you have the right to dictate the values of that universe. That's how it works. Don't take somebody else's stuff and claim it for yours. But this is probably Goose Works' project. So people liked it, and people ate it up. So it's like, okay, fine. Now, there's two main plots that occurred in this movie. One is Kane. No, two. There's a second plot, was Kane's reemergence. Okay, so these are going to be spoilers. You probably already know some of the spoilers, but here we go. Kane comes back, and he basically reflects on the first segment of the story and decides that he was wrong. He was wrong to try to force everybody to go along with his ideas. He should have been more interactive and spoken to the cast members as people instead of as what he was trying to do previously, treat them as parts in his show. And he kind of does this on his own. He's not really persuaded or anything. He just kind of sees what's happened in the other plot line, decided that, oh, humans are more interesting than he thought. So he figures out a way to come back. And then he is nicer and kinder to everybody and basically decides to make the circus everything it can be with the help of all of the people, with the help of the other cast members. Bar one. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. Like, everybody likes Kane. He's fine. He's fun. I guess he learned something. Fine. They didn't really explain. They welcome him back way too quickly. In all honesty, especially given the other part of the story, he's welcomed back way too quickly. But they do have a whole montage of him like interacting with the different cast members one on one and learning about them and being friendly. It's fine. Like, nothing earth shattering, particularly how much of a jerk he is in episode 8, but it's fine. That's not where my major complaints are. In fact, I don't really think that there were any major complaints from anything I saw online from anybody about Kane's coming back and everything. We kind of saw it coming. It's kind of been on the wall. There's no real other way you could do it. I would only say a bit of a wasted opportunity because they could have done a whole Death of God Nietzschean plot where he doesn't come back and they have to learn how to do things on their own. Would have been cool. Hinted at it a lot in episode 8, but I get why he came back. I get it. All the stuff at the end about what happens to them moving forward, and Gangle and Zubul finally hook up. You get to see what the real life origins of the people are. All that kind of stuff was fine. Bit tacked on. I didn't really like the real life versions of the characters because there was just way too much like typical hipster millennials, and they're all kind of the same group of people. Like, one's a photographer, or one is the one engineer they have. Kinger is like 30 years old. He's got a family and it's nice, but they're all the rest of them are just kind of like artsy New York people, which is fine, but not as much real diversity as you would like. would have been cool to have them like be a little bit more actual diverse instead of all looking like the same character in different skin colors. Um, but it was fun. Now the bad. Um, Jax was given the shaft. Jax was not handled particularly well. And it takes a while to think about why I don't like how they handled him. So, ultimate spoilers again. What basically happens is that the circus is shut down. It's all broken, and Pomni and Kinger started rebuilding it, and the other cast members start rebuilding it one by one. They come back from the outskirts, and Jax tries to come back, and then he doesn't. He goes up to them. He thinks about joining them. He doesn't. He gets scared or whatever, and then next scene he's abstracted. Do you see him getting abstracted? No. You just happens off screen. Oh, now he's abstracted now, and they have to deal with him. And it's like, oh, how do we handle this? Okay, great. Off screen, you build up a death of a character. You build up a character's struggles for 5 episodes, and then you just say, "Oh, wait, he's gone now." That's not good writing. I don't think most people would call that good writing. And then they do this whole thing where unexplained, but Pomni figures out how to hug the abstraction. Never explained again. Just something would have been nice. And basically enters into the abstracted Jax's mindscape, where she gets to see how he would have responded to the other 5 cast members abstracting. So how he would have predicted that Ginga would act, how Zuba would act, Pomni, Bagatha. I don't know if he did it all of them. And then finally, there's a door that she opens up, and you see the different versions of Jax's personality, his guarding mechanisms, playing cards with each other. She goes from there, and then finally finds the real Jax. So it gets the actual backstory of Jax. And honestly, it's sad. It's honestly, this part of things is actually done really, really well. Basically, Jax was abused by his he was basically abused by his mom, and then he gets in a fight with her over that after his parents' divorce. He gets in a fight with her over that, and accidentally hurts her. It's not really made clear what happened, what the result is, but basically he runs away, becomes homeless for a few months, and then ends up in the circus. Never sees his mom again. It's really, really sad, actually. Then you have what happened with Ribbon, where basically she invited him to share, and he does. But then after that, he feels vulnerable about what she knows and pushes her away for a period of time. She misses him. There's obviously some romantic subtext going on there. And eventually, she shuts herself away in her room, and Jax almost reaches out to her, but then doesn't. And then she abstracts. Kaufmo's abstraction is like somewhat to do with it, but like it's really just its own thing, not really avoided. And that's the story of Jax. That was all really, really done well. And then Pomni in the Mindscape gives him a hug. He says he doesn't want to go, but then he goes anyway. Not really clear what's happening there. So now the abstraction's still an abstraction and gets hidden away in the tent, in a big tent, to be calm, and that's kind of the end of it. Kane offers to clean up and send them to the cellar. They basically say, no, we got this for now, and no further explanation is given. So the things that did well, the fall of Jax is very, very human. It's like divorce causes mom to go weird, and basically things accidentally happen, and then based on that accidentally happen, he pushes other people away. He's just a kid. He's just a kid, and he pushes somebody away because it reminds him too much of a previous situation he was in. And then she dies, and then eventually it catches up with him, and then he abstracts. That's fine. Actually, really well done. Really done with a lot of sympathy and humanity. And the issue is you went through all of that, Pomni going into his mindscape and everything, and it's not enough. It's like he can't be saved. And then they have like a few scenes of people being sad about it and all, and then people get over it, and it's fine. And everybody's happy at the end. Everybody gets to be in the good old gay paradise. It's like, okay, great. But first of all, that doesn't really solve the problem, does it? Jax wasn't the problem. Plenty of people abstracted before Jax did. And yes, Jax was a bad person. Okay, fine. But we know for a fact that good people abstracted. Queenie, Ribbon, Kaufman. We know for a fact that most of them were just decent people. And they abstracted because they couldn't, and they didn't, the ones we know about didn't abstract because of any particular adventure or something going wrong. No, they abstracted because of psychological issues that affected them and they couldn't handle them. Ribbon couldn't handle the isolation. Kaufman couldn't handle, got obsessive about something. Queenie, we don't really know, but she had Kinger, and that wasn't enough. And Kinger is like amazing. He wasn't crazy. He was crazy back then. And so they all just get abstracted, and now Jackson can be abstracted too. So it kind of suggests that if there's no way back from being abstracted, you're just inevitably going to be abstracted. Even if things are good now, you're eventually just going to fall apart. Now, maybe it's different with Kane making the circus a better place to be. Maybe not. So that's one. Two, Jax is a stupid kid. That's all he is. In his backstory, he doesn't deserve to be abstracted based on his feelings of guilt and everything. It wasn't his fault. He felt bad. He had a psychological trauma affecting him. You don't deserve to be turned into an animal forever based on that. Three, inconsistency. So the entire show is about reaching out to people that we may not have control over the circus, but we can care about the people in our lives and keep them sane and just reach out. That's the entire message of the show. It's a good message. And it doesn't work. And it's spun out from the fact that Jax did share and was open with somebody. And it didn't help him. Like, oh, he should have been open. Well, he was open and it didn't work. You can't have a whole message being that you got to be open and reach out, and then somebody is open and reaches out and is reached out to by Pomni. And it isn't enough. I mean, yes, in the real world, people just off themselves, sure. But that's very unsatisfying in the real world. And there's no less unsatisfying in a story, particularly when the point of the story is to reach out and be kind to each other. That's not good. I would say moving forward that, and this is in the comments and everything, that this actually kind of stems back from a flaw in Gooseworks' worldview. And it's not a dishonest flaw. This movie didn't seem like political. This movie seemed like how she actually perceives the world. And it's dark. There's no forgiveness. There's no forgiveness in the Rebel worldview. And this wasn't a political movie where they made everything political, which makes it more interesting as a way of examining a flaw in the leftist worldview. In a Christian or maybe a Jewish, I don't know about other places, there is an idea of forgiveness. You can change. People can change, become better, and move on and get better. This basically says, nope, you're a bad person, so you deserve to die and become an animal. Become a crazed animal forever because, well, you were mean, so you deserve this. And it just didn't line up with the storytelling of the previous 4 episodes, where it seemed like there was a possibility of making him better. And he did this whole thing about going to his mindscape and everything, and it means nothing. And people are like, oh, well, Jax is the antagonist. His philosophy is wrong. Well, Jax's ideology throughout the entire show is that nothing matters and that all the relationships that you form with people don't actually make a difference. And he's right in how things end up for him. He's right. He shares, other people share with him, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So his ideology, he turns into an animal. His ideology is proven correct. It would have a defeat of his ideology would have been things do matter. People can reach out. People can care. People can love each other. That would have proven him wrong. This ending actually proves him right, which is very unsatisfying. And the ultimate darkness of it is that eventually this will happen to all the other characters there. Unless, like, somehow Kane's different attitude changes how people feel about things. Maybe it does. But I don't know about you, but psychological stuff can always hit you. So I thought it was actually kind of a dark ending. It was made out to be a happy ending. I think that's what the intended message was. But if you just dig in a little bit, it was a lot. It's just like vengeful. There's no mercy. There's no forgiveness. There's no changing your ways. Nope. You say mean things, so you go to hell. Okay, you're damned. Sorry, you're just damned. Now, you could easily write an epilogue for this. That would fix it. You could say, over time, Jax becomes calmer and calmer. He starts looking more like a rabbit again. He starts looking more. He starts seeing more human, and they slowly, like, through an extended period of time, teach him to be normal again, and everything works out. And frankly, the circus needs it. The circus is there's a part earlier in the show where Kane is like, if you don't have anything wrong happen, where's the sex appeal? It's like, well, yeah, because it would be boring. It's just like 4 random characters just being boring together. It's like, okay, they're gonna abstract from boredom at that point. They kind of need Jax's like edginess. They kind of need it. Most things are just gonna be very, very boring there. Everything's just happy. It's like, okay, that's not gonna work long term. And also there's a part at the very beginning where Jax actually says this. He's like, wait, so Kinger can destroy the entire circus by killing Kane, and everybody forgives him, and then I act mean a little bit, and suddenly I have no way back. Yeah, that's basically what it's saying. Is that if you're not in the goop, oh, sorry, you're out. You don't get any forgiveness. You don't get any mercy or anything. And I think this is really Nux is probably going to talk about it in this fight. This is where it's a real thing in the liberal left-wing worldview that you're either a good person or you're not. And there ain't no forgiveness. You just get taken out, and that's that. Sorry, you're bad, so you go away. Or you're bad, so you go to the bottomized. So you're bad, so you get turned into an abstraction with no hope to come back. That's the worldview they have. And it's funny because this is that problem in the worldview in the most pure way. It's not political. Again, that's why I can't really give this movie an F. Because I feel like the weaknesses are really drawing from the actual weaknesses in Gooseworks' worldview. It's not done out of spite or out of being over political or not liking certain people or anything like that. It is a logical result of her actual worldview. And the actual worldview doesn't have space for people to get better. AI, sure, not people. And that makes it really interesting, actually. That's kind of why I feel like a lot of people are so obsessed with this ending. I know I am kind of, because it is so wrong in such an interesting way. Um, so yeah, that's all I got. And the other issues that is going to kind of kill rewatchability for the show. Like, if you know Jax is just going to abstract himself, um, it kind of gets rid of a lot of the fun of the show. So it's going to make it more difficult to ever rewatch it. Now, there is a part of me that wonders if this was intentional by Works. There's obviously a couple parts where it could have been written differently to have a different outcome. Pomni reaching out could have saved Jackson. He comes back to normal. The first time an abstraction ever comes back, and that gives hope to Ribbit and Cosmo and all the other characters that maybe if people love them enough, they can come back. Cheesy, but it would have worked. You could have had that happen. You could have had the scene be like, oh, he sees Ribbit, Ribbit asks Jax to reach out, and then he doesn't. He says, I don't trust you. And then Ribbit falls apart because her best friend doesn't trust her, which I can see. This made me wonder if maybe there is a alternate ending somewhere. And then who knows, maybe it gets released in 2 weeks on YouTube. Maybe. Or it might just be that Ghostworks honestly hates her fandom and intentionally wrote a less satisfying ending out of spite. And ironically, the people who were the most disruptive to the fandom are the people who are happy right now with this ending. Which is also kind of funny. They're like, oh, it's great because Jax dies. Okay. All these supposedly sympathetic people can't sympathize, it turns out. But the worst thing about it is that there's a lot of people who I think identify with Jax. I know I do. I think a lot of people do. I'd say about half the audience probably empathizes with Jax more than any other character. And you basically told all these people that, yeah, you can try to be a better person. It's not going to matter. We're still going to kill you. Or abstract you or whatever. And that's kind of bleak. And I don't think that's a good message. People bash the whole reconciliation arc, redemption arc. People bash the redemption arc a lot. There's a reason why we have it, because it's satisfying. It satisfies something deep within us to be able to get better and improve ourselves and change. We need that. That's what humans do. We change. We get better. We try to fix ourselves. And I think that's ultimately why conservatives have better outcomes than you expect, because they change. We change. We adapt. I feel like a lot of left wingers I know kind of get stuck in a particular mode, and they get stuck in a rut and they never get out. Not a rut that's going to kill them or anything, but just stops them from reaching their ultimate happiness, which I do actually want for them. Anyway, that's all for now. I don't hate it. I just want to be clear. It was well done, and I get why the mistakes were made that were made. I get it. It's a worldview problem. It's not a movie problem, and it's still a problem though. But I just have to end up giving this finale B minus or C plus. It's passing. It's fine. It was entertaining. Some stuff was done well, but the core story bothers me. And I don't think that the ending, as written, showed that it was a bothering outcome. It showed everything's fine. Although it's not. We know, or no, it's not. But what's really funny is I don't think the leftists who will like the show, because it is a mostly left-wing audience, understands any of this, which is kind of funny. Anyway, cheers.